So here we are again, day 2. I uploaded the first video like I said I would. I wasn't totally sure at first, but then I don't know. By the end of recording the video, I kind of had the balls to do it, so I did it. Now we're on day 2. It was a pretty good day. I figure if I just keep hitting record every day, it'll become a habit, and then once it's a habit, I can add on to it. I can add layers to it. I can make it better. I can do this little thing and this little thing, and eventually it'll be something more cohesive, more whole. So for now, even though it's, humble beginnings, it's something. And to me, that's better than nothing. Actually, I think to anybody, that's better than nothing. Especially if your goal is just to improve in any way you can day to day. And that is indeed my general goal and adopted philosophy. The older I get, the more I realize there's really no reason to fear, anything. Things are going to happen in life. Some of them you can avoid, some of them you can't. So I think it's just better to roll with the punches. Avoid what you can, sure. Unless going through the pain will actually make you stronger in the end. In which case, I would say maybe you should just go through it anyway. I've always been one for these hoods. I don't know. This one is my work one, but it works. Maybe some water somewhere. So yeah, I'm just going to upload a video every day when I work now on the way home. That's my new normal. That's my new habit. And I'm going to say what's on my mind. I'd like to have a topic every day kind of prepared to some extent. I don't know. I kind of like that it's off the cuff too, though. I like that it's not prepared. But then again, there's a lot of blank space in these conversations because of that, because I'm literally thinking as I go, right? So there's a lot of blank space. I could cut that out. I could edit it out. That could be something I could add on to my efforts here. But for now, I'm not going to do that yet. But no, hey, small incremental steps every day. They add on to who you are. And if you do them regularly, day by day, week by week, month by month, eventually one step becomes 10, becomes 20, becomes 100, becomes 1,000. And before you know it, you're an expert at whatever it is you do. So hey, my goal right now is to become an expert at pressing record every day when I work, when I get home, or when I'm on my way home from work. Press record, and if I can do that, and just talk to myself in the car, and then press upload on YouTube, that's something. That's a good beginning to me. I don't know if it's going to go anywhere, but at least it's a record for myself to say, hey, I put in some effort. I did something that was uncomfortable, that I didn't think I would ever do again. Yeah, it was about 5 years ago, maybe a little more than that. I did a series of YouTube videos. They're not up right now. I might put them up again. I might re-upload them. I quit my job in IT, and I was just living at my parents' place. It was not the most ideal situation. My goal was really just to do YouTube and hope that I would pan out. But I didn't weave it into my life. I just dropped my source of income, and I was just like relying on my folks to keep me afloat. And that was such a shitty feeling, because I knew it wasn't right, but I also knew, there was part of me that was angry and bitter. Like, I was just mad at the world. I felt betrayed. I felt like, why do I see all these other people with their success and whatever they want to do? And here I am trying something, and it doesn't pan out. And then, over the years, I've kind of had to humble myself and realize, really, it's because I don't, I assume what I see on the internet is at face value, and they just got there magically. But really, there's tons and tons and tons of work. And really, I should know that because, I've done the whole workout regime. I'm starting to get back into working out again regularly and daily. Same with these videos. I'm making it a daily practice to work out no matter how I feel, to record the video no matter how I feel. I don't want to say I want to be somebody because I've always been myself, and that is me. I am somebody. I am myself. But I think you understand what I'm saying. Like, there's something to be said about putting in so much effort that it's unreasonable that you fail at what you're aiming to achieve. So as long as you have a goal in mind and you have a reason to pursue it that's deep and powerful and meaningful within yourself, what's going to stop that from happening, barring any unforeseen extreme circumstance in your life? What would stop a regular person from pursuing a daily practice, doing the thing every day? What would stop them from climbing a mountain, metaphorical or not? I can't see anything that would stop that. And so here I am, day 2. Man, I wish I had a better topic to discuss though. I feel like I'm just rambling about nothing. I don't know. This is part of the whole process, right? You kind of go through the little insecurities and pains you're feeling, and then maybe something happens eventually, right? I work as a painter. I just started that recently. Before that, I was just doing. I was working for a temp agency. I moved across the country. I don't know. It wasn't that I was running away from where I was. It was more, at the time, it didn't feel like the right place for me to be. Now that I'm here, I realize it's that whole thing of wherever you go, there you are, right? It wasn't the place that was the problem. It was me that was the problem. It was my point of view, my perspective on life as it was. I could make my life as good as it possibly could be anywhere I am. But the fact that I moved was a concrete realization. It hit me in the face. Like, hey, it doesn't matter where you go. You're gonna have to confront yourself. You're gonna have to fight your own demons. And if you want to rise above that, you can. If you want to be swallowed by the abyss, you can have that happen too. And I don't want that to happen. So I'm here. I'm going to keep showing up. I'm going to keep doing what I have to do to make this work. And I'm not just going to be a victim of circumstance. I'm not going to sit in a corner and pout and cry. And I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to take ownership of my life. So from now on, extreme personal responsibility. Taking the initiative to do the extra little bit. Because that's something too. The extra little things you do every day become the entirety of your day, if you do enough of them. It's, the mundane bullshit that you do every day, whatever. But when you keep adding a little tiny little layer to that onion, eventually you've got this whole thing. It's not just little pieces. It becomes the whole, the entirety. And in a way, it's magnificent because it's like you're weaving a tapestry. You're making something so. It's not delicate though. It's so interwoven into your being. It's the expression of who you are, and that is so powerful and so beautiful. I'm trying not to embellish this too much. Obviously I'm trying because, I don't usually just talk to myself in the car, usually, unless I'm really bothered about something, then I'm just thinking. So, it's been a while since I've kind of just spoken off the cuff like this out loud, whether it's to myself or anybody. I don't know. I'll get better at it as I go. That's kind of the point too, right? You get better at articulating what goes on inside of you as you express it. And as you express it, that's something too. You have to say out loud what you're thinking, because that is the very process of thinking. If you don't say it, it doesn't really resonate. It's not real until you put it out there. And like I said yesterday in my other video, had I not uploaded the video, I would have just been talking to myself. But the fact that I pressed upload, that I recorded, I pressed upload, makes it something entirely larger than just myself. To me, that is it's so fundamental and so cool. There's something so awesome about that. I don't know what it's going to lead to, if anything, but like just the fact that it could be something is really awesome. So I'm going to keep doing it. I think soon I'm going to get a better phone mount for my car so I can have it in widescreen 60:9 aspect ratio instead of this portrait view, because the selfie camera view is not exactly the best for long form content, especially on YouTube. Different story if I was uploading it to like Instagram or TikTok or something, but I'm not doing that, at least not right now. I just want to stick to YouTube because it's what I've known, and I think one platform is a good start. Yeah. Oh, yesterday I spent the time creating the channel. I called it John's Take. My name's Jonathan, but I wanted something memorable that was short and sweet to the point. And this way, John's Take. It's my take on whatever it's going to be, right? It's just me expressing my being, who I am, what I'm thinking, what's going on. It's original. It's individual. It is I. I've struggled for a long time with marijuana addiction. Right now, I'm kind of done with it. I've said that a lot throughout the years, but at this point, I really am kind of done with it. It feels good in the moment, just like anything pleasurable does, right? But, you do it every day, and then it just becomes a negative habit because it just detracts from anything you want to do. I become just a slouched over, slob. I don't like that. I want to be present for the moments of my life. I don't want to miss out on the very thing that is me. I don't want to miss out on that. It fogs your perceptions. It detracts from who you can be, and I don't like that. I want to be authentic. I want to be real. I know it takes a while for the dopamine to recalibrate, reset, get its homeostasis and balance back. So I'm trying to think now. It's been a couple weeks since I've last used marijuana, so I'm gonna stay off it. I was gonna say I'm gonna try, but no, I'm staying off it. This is the whole Yoda thing, right? Do or do not. There is no try. Do or do not. There is no try. Right. Yeah, I've been working out more consistently. My goal now is to work out every day for at least a good 20 minutes. Yesterday I did some back and biceps. Today I'm going to do some chest and triceps. So yesterday was a pull day. Today's going to be a push day. And then tomorrow is going to be, leg day, I suppose. Yeah, tomorrow's going to be leg day. I've been just scratching and clawing my way to find a way to do my workouts. I moved out of my parents' place not super long ago. It's been maybe 4 or 5 months. I go see them once every couple of weeks. But right now I'm actually living in a camper trailer, so I don't exactly have a space to put like a proper pull-up bar. And that's always been like a big part of my compound movements for my exercise, my weight resistance. So I actually I opened the door of my camper trailer and I was literally using the roof of the camper to do pull-ups, while being kind of in the doorway. It was a little hard on my wrist, so I think I might have an extra pull-up bar that can sit in the actual doorway. So I'm gonna see if I can go get that at my parents' place and bring it over next time I go see them. I'm so tired of giving myself the room for excuses. I'm tired of half-assing things. The problem is, I'm an intelligent person, and I know that I can get by doing that. And I know I could just float through life doing that because I'm not. I've got the basics down. Like I have a proper job, like an income. I have some forms of meaning in my life. I'm not dating anybody right now, but like I'm working on a software programming project. I'm working on a video game I'm making. So I have a creative outlet. I'm doing YouTube now, like you're seeing here. Even this is just the basic beginning. I still plan to keep doing it, and I hope to one day evolve it into something more. But there's something really healthy and relieving about being able to just express myself like this. I do, but I don't really care if no one watches this. It's more just the fact that it's giving me an outlet to express my voice. I kind of forgot for a while that I had a voice. I let myself become so small. Yeah, just so small, so insignificant. I didn't want people to notice me because I didn't want to get in their way. I felt like I had failed. I felt like because I had failed at what I tried to do in the past that I was just a failure. And I kind of bought into this idea. But you are what you think, just like you are what you eat, right? So from now on, my thoughts are on a higher aim. I don't want to just settle for mediocrity. I want to live as fully and authentically and as real as I possibly can. And so I will. Speaking of taking the initiative, I said I work as a painter. I'm kind of new there still, so I'm the newest person. There's only 4 of us there, the boss being one of us. I took the initiative to clean up our little paint shop area in the building we're working on. So I had a few extra minutes yesterday evening. So I did that. And man, did that ever make a difference. That made such a big difference. His demeanor was just, he was so relaxed and happy. I think I might have come across as somebody who was just money hungry or out for my own benefit. I've had that happen in the past. I don't mean for that to happen, but I don't know. I'm confident enough to know what my needs are. I don't mind expressing them. So from the get-go, I told them, hey, what's it going to take for me to get a higher wage here? Because I can't just sit at the bottom here forever. I want to get things going. And I think me bringing that up every so often kind of bothered him because I know he's trying to train me and have me do the best work I can, not just for myself, but for that company, of course. And I think for a while there, I was kind of looking down the job because I thought I was better than that. Because I used to be in a white-collar job, now I'm kind of in a blue-collar situation. That was kind of a point of shame for me for a while, too. I lost... The only reason I'm not in IT or software right now is I lost... Sure, I lost the confidence to go for it, but more importantly, I lost the connections to the people who would be able to help me get, as references for jobs, right? And that was because when I left that environment, it was right at the beginning of COVID, and the writing was on the wall. It was so obvious to me as somebody passively observing on the internet, the wave of this COVID bullshit, this whatever you want to call it. I saw it come. There was no reaction at first. It was totally chill. And all of a sudden, the North America, we just freaked out. Everyone overreacted, and suddenly the whole world was in a panic over nothing. It was a freaking cold, man. Like, what the hell? So anyway, I shared this. I shouldn't have done this, but I had on my coworkers and my peers on Facebook and other social media. I shared my opinion, and I combated against these lunatics. I shouldn't call them that, but these people who were so delusional about the situation because they're so out of touch. And I lost most of my friends and connections that way. And I don't know. I don't regret it because there's no way I wouldn't take a stand if it happened again. There's no way. It was so unbelievable how everyone just followed and flocked like sheep. It was unbelievable, man. Anyway, I don't want to open that can any further because holy moly, that was idiotic. But like, it just goes to show, if we were frickin' Germany in the 40s and this was like the Nazi regime coming through, so many people would be the fucking Nazis. So many people, like everybody. They just went along with whatever the government frickin' said. I couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it. You know, again, this is not an ego thing, but like, I realized that in that moment, in that period of time, in that year or two, if that was actually what was happening, I would have been a hero in that situation. And I felt so good knowing that. Like, I wasn't blinded. I wasn't propagandized. I didn't allow the mood of the nation to take over me. The mood of the world. I didn't allow it to sway my beliefs or opinions or anything. I stood my ground, and I'm proud of myself for that. I really am. Yeah, I really am. Not my will, but thy will be done. On earth as it is in heaven. It's not about you. It's not about me. It's about whatever's going to happen. You know, we don't decide what happens to us. But what we do control is how we react and respond to situations. You can't control what's going on around you, but you can control how it affects you and what you do with it. And also, you know, we don't always get what we want, but at least in my experience, you know, oftentimes we get what we need. And more often than not, that's more than enough if you decide it is. You know, I was always brought up to have a lot of gratitude. You know, there's a saying I have, it's gratitude for the grain of sand, gratitude for all things. If you can be grateful that a grain of sand exists, you can look at that individual grain of sand and you can say, wow, that's a real thing. Like, that's cool. Like, you know, I'm glad that exists. What? No, like, you know, if that can be your whole world for a second, if you can just focus in on that, what more is there to need? Like, what's going to stop you? I know you have the basic hierarchy of needs, food, shelter, whatever, but in a more holistic sense, like, you can make do with so little. And I did that because I was trying to live small for a while, right? Because I felt small. But in a way, there was something healthy about the way I was living. It wasn't just, I know the part where I shrunk down and didn't express myself was unhealthy, but the fact that I could get by on so little and still thrive in my own mind, it was like, I wasn't in a stasis. I was still thriving in my own way, and it gave some more depth and meaning to my life in a way. I've said to myself quite a bit, I wish I had more self-discipline. And then I realize I'm kind of a workaholic when I get in the mood for it, when I'm in the zone for it. It's just I have to decide at every moment, whenever it's an option, that is the thing I'm going to do. I shouldn't even be thinking about it. I've learned I have to just jump into what I need to get done. And if it needs to get done, it's going to get done. And that's when you realize what actually needs to get done, because it aligns with your values and your highest aim. And that's something too. If you have an aim, it should be as high as you can possibly perceive and imagine. Because even if you don't hit that target, the higher you aim, the higher you're going to land when you inevitably miss that highest possible aim. And you might hit, in the ballpark. You may not, but at the very least, if you aim for the stars, you're going to at least hit something that's upward, right? Whereas if you aim for something that's just kind of like level with where you're at, you're probably going to go lower, really, or you're at least just going to flatline. That's not any good for anybody, especially yourself. No, be bold. Have the courage to dream. Fear not, for I am with you. I was brought up in a Christian environment. My folks are quite religious. In a way, it was a little dogmatic, but I realize now, being older, I'm 30 right now. I realize now there was a lot of benefit to it, despite the fact that it was intoxicating sometimes. For one thing, I know they meant well, but also it gave me a lens through which to view life that has expanded my horizons beyond what even they could ever imagine for themselves or for me. I know they're caught up in their own little world, my folks, but I don't know. I'm still like happy for them. I kind of wish they'd take more initiative in their lives too, though. Be a little more go-getter. Because I think they've allowed their beliefs to basically justify them just existing. One of the sayings they had was, it's not about the works you do. It's not about the work and the effort you put in. It's just the fact that if you believe in Christ, you're saved, right? So, if I believe and I pray, not pray, but if I believe and I'm sincere in my belief, then I'm covered. I don't need to do anything in this life, because the afterlife is what matters, and that's taken care of. And I don't think that's a healthy look. I don't think that's a healthy viewpoint. I think it's nice to know that you're comforted, but I think you should always be striving for more. Because why else would you be here if you're not trying to experience your life in its completeness, to the extent that you're able to? Like, there's something about being on the limit of your capacity, maybe not every minute of every day, but there's something about just being at your limit regularly that it makes you tough. It's like a grindstone. It just makes you better. There's that visual I've seen, we start off as this block of marble, and life's the sculptor, right? And as you go through life, the goal is to become this beautiful marble sculpture by the end of it. Some people just stay as kind of a half chiseled block. They don't push for more. They're comfortable and they're content. And it, in a way I understand, especially nowadays, because it's so easy to just fall into that with hedonism, because everything's so comfortable. Technology makes everything you want at your fingertips. The phone I'm recording on, that's a marvel of technology. It's amazing, right? But it's also problematic. Say we were in the best of situations where, in 10 years, all your needs are taken care of and there's no cost of anything because it's deflationary, the technology. Even if we had everything we wanted, just like in the WALL-E movie where everyone's fat and sitting in a moving chair, even if we had something like that where it was all like free living and everything's great, you're basically a zombie, right? I don't know, there's something about that primal grit. Like, having a lack is actually what you need to be optimal, to be optimized. You can't just be comfortable all the time. You can't party all the time. Too much of a good thing, it kills you. Yeah. This video is a little longer because I started recording pretty much as soon as I left the parking lot at work. I got another 2 minutes maybe. I'm trying to think of what I can finish off with. This has been a good conversation so far, even though it's kind of with myself. Hey, if you're watching this on the off chance, whoever you are, I'd love to hear from you. I don't know if it's going to reach anybody, but on the off chance that it does, I'd love to hear what you think of anything I've said if you listen to it. I don't know. It's nice to meet new people. What's going on? Like, what's life all about? What's your life like? Does any of this resonate with you? I certainly know I don't exist in a vacuum. I know there's other people out there who think these things, because these aren't even my original ideas, right? Like, we're all just kind of, what's that saying? People don't have ideas have people, right? Once in a while a person generates an actual novel new idea, and if they share it around, then it becomes kind of like a mind virus. We all have these mind viruses, or these memes that are within us that we cling to, that we attach to our identity or our worldview, our lens and prism through which we see, existence. Yeah. Don't take anything for granted. Every moment is precious. Even the worst moment. You only get so many. I said that yesterday too. I think it's important. Living authentically and sincerely within your own parameters and your own, living on your terms. That's kind of who I am. I do that. I live on my terms to the best that I can. And, it's hard sometimes. You feel lonely. And it's not that people can't relate necessarily, which is also true a lot of times, but when that's not the case, the other thing is just, it's hard. It's not hard for them to relate. It's hard to say. Life can be lonely when you're living on your terms. But when you find somebody who actually understands you and respects you for who you're showing up as, when it's authentic and it's true to who you are deep down, don't let that go. I mean, you shouldn't cling to things, because that's part of life, is things come and go, right? But you should value that season of life for what it has to offer in its entirety, in its fullness. Breathe it in, take it in. Don't waste the opportunities that are in front of you when they're sincere and they line up with your values and your lens and your framework through which you see life. don't just let those pass you by, because there's only so many, and if you miss enough of them, well, you kind of miss your life, right? Yeah. And this is my stop, so I wish you nothing but wellness. Thank you very much. If you happen to watch this, I'll see you tomorrow. May you be well.